Juicy New Year. Welcome back to Copper Whiff, everybody. So today we're doing the Whiffies, which is going to be our awards for. We got Submission of the Year, we got KO of the Year, we got Fighter of the Year, and we've got Fight of the Year.
Ooh.
So we're going to do all those.
And the Stinky of the Year too.
Yeah, we got the Stinky of the Year. But first, I'm thirsty, dude.
It's getting a bit warm in here,
I'm
man.
hot, I'm
Need a
sticky.
cool beverage.
I need something to cool me off, and the only place you're going to get something to cool you off when you're hot and sticky is Mount fucking Beverest.
Yeah, I'm ready for a holiday, man.
Goosey Doodle, I'm thirsty. What do we got this week?
Got a classic, man. One that needs no introduction. We got Crown Lager. You know, I'm gonna
Pop
Get
one
that
off
one
for
for
all
you,
of us,
okay?
dude.
Thanks, mate.
Oops.
That
Look
is
at
why.
this.
Goes well with the Whiffies as
Thank
well.
you, my man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
classy
The
beverage.
celebrations, end of a year.
It's meant to be a premium beer.
It's the most.
I'll be the judge of that. Cheers, dude.
Gold label presentation. Probably give it a.
Mm.
It's a nicely presented beer.
Yeah.
not
The
gonna lie.
presentation.
She knows
is
how
nice.
to charm you off the bat. Yeah.
I'm feeling that cool brisk breeze coming right off Mount Beverest right here. Look at that.
Dude,
We've
I feel
already
like
got-
I'm there, man.
Yeah, we've already got Carlton Draft way up the top there.
Yeah.
Stella and Goat.
Goat beer. You know
And
what?
slowly each week we will plant
Oh.
more flags in accordance to where we believe the beer ranks on Mount
More and
Beverest.
more will fall. Trying to scale that fucking vast wilderness of a mountain.
Not everyone makes it up this mountain, man.
Like Stella over here. Eat a dick, Stella.
Did not like Stella at
Did
all.
not enjoy that
All
one
right,
at all.
Wooch, why don't you start us off, buddy?
Well, yeah, presentation of the bottle is probably the best out of all the beers. I'll say the gold label is pretty nice.
That crown looks all right. Yeah.
Taste is pretty good too. The only thing is it doesn't last. I feel like you got to keep drinking to maintain that taste. The aftertaste is it's not horrible. It's just not the best.
Where was the first time you had a crown? Do you remember?
No.
I remember for me, it was like at some rich, fancy friend of my stepdad's. And like he had this big, massive like party at his house with all these fucking fancy ass friends and shit. And like there was just like buckets of crown there.
Yeah.
And like
Well,
I was
they-
like 12, dude. And I was just like, I'm just like sneaking bottles of crown out of this thing trying
Did you have
them
a
out.
pool?
He had everything. Pool,
Yeah.
tennis
Makes
court,
sense. Yeah.
the thought
rotundas.
process of that is like, oh, well, you're having a night. Oh, you're not just having a party. You're having a nice party, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, don't get crown. No, get crown.
Get
Yeah,
crown.
that'll look better.
Crown is more like a
My stepdad loves his crown. It's probably his favorite beer. I reckon.
yeah. Like I don't mind them. I just feel like they are a good beer to have at a restaurant.
I have a problem with the aftertaste. That probably it tastes
Mhm,
like a beer. It's nice. I rate it, but I don't rate it high because I feel like the aftertaste is just like
Kills it.
it's rough. Right?
Yep.
Tastes like a
Doesn't have a before taste like Stella and a mid taste like Stella.
Oh no, Stella should be fucking way down.
I
the bottom
don't
there, dude.
understand. How is
Hey,
it?
What's
tried-
going on down here?
We all thought it was going to scale that mountain and
Yeah.
get
Who
not
gave
even
it the
get
fucking
past
good
the
score?
town, dude.
I
But
think
like,
the Schwid give it the good score, which is why.
yeah, it hung on, dude.
Yeah.
All right, guys, and let's just explain for a second for our viewers how it's going to work. Though it is scaling that mountain, we've got the little indicators on the side there. That is 1 6-pack to 12 to 18 to a whole slab. So we are still going off that system, that metric. So, Wooch, what are you giving it out of 24 of a slab? How many are you drinking?
I'm gonna give it a 17.
17.
Big number, man. I'm
It's a
sitting at a
big
mean
number, dude.
12.
It's not the biggest.
I drink half a slab of these. 12.
12. Okay.
Right there in that summit.
Okay, 12. Yeah, it comes. You take a nice little swig out of that, and it tastes real nice. And then there's
At
this.
T minus 2 seconds.
It is like
Just goes away.
It's a wide berth
Yeah.
of the aftertaste
It's
coming
all
through.
bitter too.
It's bitter as. So I'll give it 11. I drink 11 out of 24 of these. Now, if you want to be so kind, guys, we did actually write down Schwid's score to enter in. He was here just beforehand, couldn't
Sorry,
make
You
it.
got this, dude?
Yeah, I got it.
You got that?
Where did you write it down?
So you got it next to Crown right there, and you've got our initials and our score.
He gave it an 8. He gave it the lowest out of all of us.
An 8.
That is surprising.
And that gives us a grand total of, between the four of us, should be written next to Crown,
12, huh?
12. So it's a perfect half between the four of us. Gets half, man. I think that's the same as Goat.
Planet now.
Here
I think
go.
we said it was going to go right nice in that
The
summit.
coronation of the crown. It's a beautiful moment.
Yep. Yeah.
Watching from around the world.
Oh,
There you are. Oh.
Plant that flag.
Didn't quite make it up the mountain, did it?
Yep. No, it's nice.
All right. I think that completes it. So we
All
got
right.
Carlton up the top, still the leader.
Will it ever be dethroned? I doubt it.
I don't
They
think
made
so.
a great. Carlton made a good trek up the mountain, man.
If anything was going to
Honestly.
dethrone it, you think Crown would be the one. You know?
I don't know. There's some
Pun
other beers
intended.
I
out
thought
there.
VB might get close, but that's my personal opinion. I like Veebs.
We'll see that
Guys,
potentially soon.
I'm fucking excited about these fucking Whiffies. Let's go.
Come
All
on,
right,
now.
let's chuck that board back.
Put
if
it
you
back
guys
in all
can.
the majesty.
Let us know in the comments if there's any beers we should try.
Yeah, please. We need all
I was gonna say,
of the
I feel like
recommendations.
Mount Bev's just kind of.
Mount Bev's just took a plummet, dude.
Just-
Mount Everest might have fucking just. You guys seen the movie 2012? Might have just fucking cascaded down there. Next week it'll be fine.
Well, I did mention about sticky tape.
Welcome to the annual Whiffies.
All right,
Line us up,
presented by.
guys.
All right, we're going to do sub of the year first. And the way we're going to do this, right? So we've got our 4 categories plus our stinky, the KO, the submission, and the fight of the year. We're going to have 5 nominations, and then we're going to have the separate winner. So we're going to do 5 honorable mentions, I should have said, and then we're going to do the winner. The fighter, we're going to do 2 honorable mentions, and then the winner.
Yep.
We'll start with submission of the year. Griff, you want to hook us up with submissions of the year?
Are we going with the 5 honorable mentions, and then we will name
we'll
our
do
top
the winner
5.
at the end.
I'm going to start off with Hermansen Gastelum. The level of I always rank these submissions not necessarily about the technicality of the submission, and more so the caliber of the opponent that you're getting that submission over, and especially with Hermansen and Gastelum, like to do it like to sub Gastelum in that amount of time is pretty special. So, I mean, as I said, caliber of opponent, Hermansen being I think probably the underdog in that fight as well. You know,
And you just
I was very impressed.
You just don't see Gastelum get submitted.
I think, was it Weidman was the only person I think got him in like a head and arm triangle, like way late into the fight.
And Weidman's a big, strong fuck.
And Hermansen's like a big, wiry fuck, not that strong.
And what was this by? Was the submission?
I think it was like was it leg lock?
Yeah,
Pretty
it was
sure.
a
Knee bar or
heel
leg
hook
lock.
or something like
Something
that.
like that.
I
Heel hook.
love seeing those, man.
Yeah.
Love seeing those.
Filthy. All right, next.
All right, well, yep. Next, we've got this one's an interesting one because this is also the same thing. It's not necessarily the technicality of the submission, but more or less the
Mistakes.
the dominating, imposing will that was Aljamain Sterling
Absolutely.
and Corey Sandhagen. So
Yep, the Sandman,
the Sandman got bollocked by the
Yeah.
Funk Master.
the Funk Master, the Funk Man.
Funk Man.
Yeah, he got
Grandmaster
funked. He got
dude.
funked, man.
Yeah, nothing but the funk.
Yeah, Terry funked on that, man.
So the fight only went, what was it, a minute and a half?
Yeah.
And
Basically, Aljo just ran across the cage and jumped onto his back.
walked him
It might
down.
as well just, it couldn't get more clean. I don't even think they had an exchange. It was literally just Aljo just jumped onto his back. And yeah, fight was over basically.
Rear naked?
Dragged into the ground. Fight was over.
Yeah.
Super
Got him by
impressive.
rear naked. It was-
Especially seeing Sandhagen bounce back after that and fucking wheel kick Moraes' head off after that. Like, that fight should have probably been a lot more competitive than it was. Like Aljo just ran over him. Like, you couldn't have made a stake your claim as the number 1 contender harder than that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, you bet.
Unreal.
Dana White said he's going to get a title shot after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Took his time though, but right.
Next one. One of our personal favorites.
Yes. What do we got? The flick. The brick. The flick. We reached out to this boy as well, man. It was excellent to see him respond to us on our Instagram page.
Shout out.
This was last week. Jimmy the Brick Flick,
Yep.
getting a, what was it, flying triangle choke. Like,
I've only seen it a couple of times.
he had a rough first round against, was it Durden?
Cody Durden.
Cody. I was going to say Kyle. Cody Durden. He was getting a little pieced up in that fight.
Well, it wasn't too bad, but he's
Back
like
and
his
forth.
double forearm guard was
Yeah,
working
yeah,
for him.
look.
That was money. And then
Nothing insane. Like, he wasn't getting bollocked by any means, but like I don't think he won the first round, and then that second round just jumping to a fucking, what was it, a triangle?
yeah, it was a flying triangle. So I think what happens is he goes up for a left high kick and his leg kind of gets stuck up there. And then he just hops up with
Yeah,
his
so,
other foot
so
and just
Durden catches the kick, and then he jumps and inverts it into a fucking triangle, dude.
and just
Are you
brings him
fucking
down and
serious?
triangles him from the
Yeah,
bottom.
unreal.
Yeah, unreal.
Unreal.
Shout out to Jimmy the Brick Flick.
Love
Next one. We've got AJ McKee versus Darren Caldwell.
that. Yeah, son. Bellator. What can you say about this? Like, AJ McKee, probably maybe the best homegrown prospect and talent out of Bellator. 16-0, has had every one of his professional fights. Maybe it's 17-0 now. I think it's around that number. Every one of his professional fights have been in Bellator. He hasn't even been on like a regional, promotion or like LFA or anything. He went straight into Bellator. His old man is still fighting in Bellator as well. Yeah, and this, I don't even know what the hell he called him in. They're calling it the AJ guillotine. I don't know. That's all I know.
It was like, a guillotine, but the head.
It's like a shoulder crank guillotine or something like that. Yeah.
If he has it named after him, I mean, it's got to be.
Because it was such a rare submission, we should actually get the technical name. I think it was like a shoulder crank they called it, but he basically choked him out like a guillotine, but like some sort of inversion where like he's choking him out with his shoulder.
It didn't even look like the head was caught in anything. It looked like it was just all shoulder pressure. Like he was trying to bend not the shoulder. He was trying to bend the neck on itself.
We're talking about, what's his name as well? Darian Colbell, being the former bantamweight champion there, lost to the Gooch back to back and then moved up and had some success, man. Like he had some success at featherweight.
Lost to the Gooch, man?
Oh, Horiguchi. Yeah, sorry. Right, yeah. I just call him the Gooch. You know what it is?
He's the Gooch, man.
But like he's in the featherweight Grand Prix, as you know, a pretty dark horse of that Grand Prix. And yeah, for someone with such a strong wrestling background and a really strong top pressure to just get fucking subbed out like that so quickly.
Okay. Is this the runners up?
No, we got one more. These are all. We're gonna say these are all runners up.
Okay.
Like these are just
all the
honorable mentions. Okay. We've had a lot of subs.
This one to me is the most honorable mention, I reckon.
Yeah. All right. So our last honorable mention is Khabib submitting Justin Gaethje.
Yep.
Unreal.
Rightfully so.
When does Justin Gaethje get submitted?
Never. When does he get submitted that quickly with that little resistance as well? Like Khabib made it look like they were just not meant to be in a fight together. Like
no business.
He big brothered him.
That's what he does with everybody, though.
Outstanding. I'm speechless. Excuse me. I don't even fucking know how to put this in words. The fact that he decided to not break Justin Gaethje's arm, he said, I could catch him in other submissions, but I didn't want to break his bones in front of his parents who were in attendance. So I decided to fucking choke him out as the honorable way of defeating him. Are you fucking kidding me? Well, Justin motherfucking Gaethje,
He was out for blood. May I just say, you were speechless, but not burpless in that moment.
Well, something came out there.
Yeah, that's Crowny. What'd you give him again? A fucking
12, dude.
12, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it was just, it was crazy to see Gaethje get submitted like that, that quick. And it just shows that, like, Khabib...
That whole... that whole entire sequence that he submits him into, he must have made, 5 or 6 different transitions, all in like the span of less than 10 seconds, and was able to sub him to sleep, by the way. Didn't just tap, like he fucking put him out. So
it just goes to show Khabib's pressure is enough to like cloud your judge. You don't know there's too much pressure. You don't know what to do. Like you just you can't do your usual game plan because Khabib will. And because Khabib just too intimidating.
Well known for being a ground and pound artist, for him to just... Oh, I mean, he submitted Conor, he submitted Poirier, but he's known for pinning you down and beating you like a fucking hillbilly on his wife. And
you can see Gaethje the whole time. He's just winging bombs. He's like, you know, if you walk into this, it's your fault. That
and he walked into a few of them, dude. Khabib just walked right through some heavy punches as if it was nothing.
The size of his fucking head, dude.
Insanely impressive. Khabib is one of the most impressive fighters of all time. Just watch him do what he does to some of the best fighters in the world, in the most stacked division in the world, and he just goes right through them like it's nothing. Like they just don't belong in there with him, man. It's insane.
All right, number 1, yeah?
Number 1, you want to hit us up with number 1?
Here we go. Number 1, submission of MMA in 2020.
This one, I'm not sure if everyone would pick this, but I truly believe this. Ariane Lipski and Luana Carolina. She ran right over her. Like there was maybe 30 seconds of exchanging on the feet. These two girls, you know, like they look like they were about to go after it, and then Lipski just bulldozes her down. She actually knocked her down. Yeah. And then chases a filthy, what do you want to call it? Like an arm? It's not an arm bar. It's like a...
No, it was the leg though, right? It was like a knee bar. I don't know really what this was.
We aren't jiu-jitsu practitioners. No. We can only go off of what we're seeing here, but...
Caroline is on her back, and Lipski just kind of gets on top and just walls of Jericho's her leg.
Dude, the Carolina fucking wine mixer, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just kind of pulls her leg back, and you can see the knee... This one is definitely more of the technicality of the submission over the quality of fighter and the...
To the point where we can't even describe what
we can't even... We don't know what this was. There was a couple of... another honorable knee bar. I mentioned knee bar.
Yeah.
Is the Mackenzie Dern one, and that was
It's a lot more clean.
It was clean, and you can see her flow from the positions, like she's trying to set stuff up very well.
Hear the commentary, like she better watch out for that knee bar. Oops, she's got it.
But we think that this one is the one just because it's so unorthodox.
And this one's vicious too. Like the look on her face when she's cranking this submission is like, I'm going to tear this limb from your body. And you can collect it after the fight, right? It's fine.
It's cool.
I'll collect my 50K bonus. You can collect your limbs.
I'll send you an Uber, yeah.
So what we're saying is, Ariana Lipsky, congratulations on your whiff. You can collect it anytime. You can come hit us up and we'll give it to you.
Slide in the DMs and we'll, send you the whiff.
Alrighty, so that's a submission.
That's the submission.
2020.
KO of the year. Bangers and mash.
Yeah.
Let's go. First one.
This is a big one.
Benil Dariush and Scott Holtzman, son. I would say that there's two with Benil Dariush back to back. What, someone fighting here? What are we laughing for?
Cameraman Schwid, dude. Come on, man.
Schwid, dude.
Trying to do something over here, right? Schwid, man.
Benny Longback, the flattest ass in the sport, throwing a spinning back fist that just absolutely decapitated poor Scott Holtzman. And Scott Holtzman looks like the Hulk, man. Yeah. He's built like a walking brick. Yeah. And he just got pieced up for the whole first round, and the Dariush decided to just,
He got creative and he whipped out
spun. He's like, you know what? Paul Felder's watching. I'll just spin and bang.
And he reacted too. We saw this.
Yeah, out cold. I would have said as well that knockout over Jakar close, but I think we decided this one was just more like a straight up knockout. Like no TKO, no sort of ground and pound to finish, just a straight up.
That was more of a moment. He's winging bombs. He'd been rocked in that fight and he was winging bombs. Also, we're going to talk about spinning back shit that we all like. I think the Oliver Enkamp knockout was pretty sick too. That's a pretty nice spinning back knockout. Anyway.
Yeah, Bellator. Give us the goods.
Another honorable mention, and I must say that these are not necessarily in order.
Non-linear.
We're not doing that. So the second one is going to be when Cody Garbrandt knocked out Rafael Assunção.
I was wondering
this
about
one was sickening. So Assunção's walking him down. They're kind of rotating around the edge of the cage, and Garbrandt just kind of plants his feet, and they're looking at each other. Ender Buzz is about to call on the bell's about to call on this round too.
Yeah.
And on the bell, like as it happens, he ducks and
down,
whips a
he
fucking
ducks down,
right cross out of nowhere.
He's looking at Assunção whilst he
Crazy.
does it. He ducks his head down, looking, and then springs up and just
spring, man. He was like a
the
spring.
right cross from hell, dude.
Hook, I'd say probably.
Was it a hook? Because I thought it was from the rear hand.
He does throw it, bang, like across.
Okay.
The way he does it, though, he has his other shoulder way down, so it looks like.
What is so preposterous about this knockout is, as you said, his hands are down. He's just standing there reacting, ducks, and then just jumps up and knocks him out.
Yeah.
The speed in which this shot is delivered and the accuracy. It's
fast.
It's like you're watching a bullet or something like that, right?
I've never seen
blink
like
and you
that.
miss this one because like Assunção didn't just get like knocked out; he was knocked out like face first on the ground, knocked out.
And that is kind of criteria for my knockout of the year as well. I need to see the other person is knocked out and spectacularly. So he is, and he struggles. Like it's hard to see him like try and make his way to the stool as well after that.
As well, after a pretty nicely competitive 2 rounds. This was, I think, at the end of the second round. Assunção was putting it on him. He was chasing after him. I think he knew for certain he was at a speed disadvantage. But, I mean, Garbrandt wasn't exactly blowing him out of the water. It's just this buzzer beater fucking hand from hell just flattened him.
Would have been a lot of pressure on Garbrandt too, coming off a lot of losses.
Yeah, 3
It's like he grew the hair out. He grew the hair out and he's back.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Well, he needed, man. Doing that beard.
I'm not a huge fan of his grown out hair. I like the kind of short trim look on. I think the grown out hair just kind of looks like a
troll doll.
What are we going here? Came out of fucking Detroit.
He looks a spastic, to be honest. Looks like an idiot.
All right.
Not a fan of it. I know.
All right, moving on. What's your number?
I feel like he was growing
3?
it because his hairline's starting to peel back a little bit, getting a little bit frosty on the top there, on the edge.
A little bit too trailer park for you.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Oh no, starting to.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Weeds are starting to get a little whacked up the top there.
Well done, Cody Garbrandt. You got an honorable mention in our knockout of the year.
We smelling what you're cooking, son. But like we're not. I mean, you're not getting it. What do we got? Yeah, of course. Hamza Chimaev. 1 punch knockout over the shot. Let's be honest.
The shot, dude.
This one we knew the shark's chin was, biscuits, to be polite, but to do it that emphatically, like literally, like we've built this fight up, like, oh, he's going to have to fight Meerschaert. Meerschaert's got nothing to lose. He's going to come right after him. And if he beats Meerschaert, he's going to fight Damien Meyer afterwards. And obviously Meerschaert was not exactly impressed with that kind of news. He felt he's been overlooked. And then he felt the presence of Chimaev. Chimaev walked right over to him and just socked him in the face. Frosted him. He was done. One punch, oops. Like the sound that fucking punch makes is terrifying. Because it sounds like his brain literally just rattled inside his skull.
The first punch of the fight.
Yeah. And it was so fast. For someone who's fighting, who's a welterweight, fighting up at middleweight just because I don't want to cut weight. And just one punch this motherfucker, dude. Yep. Come on, son.
Doesn't happen.
I'm presuming that Chimaev might get a few mentions in this in the Whiffies for 2020.
He's had a solid year for someone who was not in the UFC at the start of the year.
I know Sportsbet's going to go crazy for me saying that because I got a big claim on all this, but I'm just going to say it right now. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a couple mentions.
Yeah. Next. All right, well, we know the shot got it. Another.
Come on, dude.
We know this already.
Shot the bed, did he?
Yeah. All right, next honorable mention. This one's relatively unknown. This one's from Bellator, but we've got Ricky Banderas, who knocked out Franz Malambo. I'm pretty sure it's Malambo.
Dude, doesn't he play Zorro, dude?
Yeah. Wait, what?
How dare you?
Isn't that Zorro? Banderas, no?
That's Antonio Banderas.
Yeah. So you're saying this guy's in Bellator now?
Yes, dude. All right, you got to put a Zorro up on the screen for that.
I'm tying it up, guys.
Tying it up.
Yeah, go on now.
So
get a WD-40 on the hinges.
Yeah, dude. Fucking get that shit in order.
Ricky fucking Bobby, dude.
Ricky Bobby.
He throws what does he throw? He throws like a
kick.
Yeah, he throws it. Was it a right or a left? I'm trying to remember. I think it was a right, like a right mid kind of high kick.
Yeah, body kick.
It gets caught. And dude, he throws. If you watch it in replay, it is so instantaneous. His reaction is instantaneous. Yeah, he fucking punches him with these two little. It's not even like a. It's not even a. It's more of like a. Like this like twice, and the second one just knocks him clean out. It's amazing, dude. It's
with the same hand.
The same hand to throw two hooks.
To throw a full powered kick, have it caught, and you just decide to, hey, just get off, and then he dies.
But two punches with the same hand is always pretty unique to watch, and for it to get the KO as well, they're so fucking fast. It's one of my favorite KOs just because it just. When does that happen?
Yeah.
When do you see that happen ever?
Yeah.
It doesn't. That was the first time ever.
I guess the winner, we could say, is another one that was a kick caught and he decided to do something a little better.
Yeah.
Ooh. Fine. What do we got? Yes, of course. Fifth honorable mention. This one is a very unique knockout. Jordan Levitt debuting from Contender Series. He was the first Contender Series winner this year.
Yeah. Season 4, episode 1.
Yep. And he was, first seed on the card.
Yep.
Fighting old Matt Wyman. Now, this guy...
What's his nickname, do you know?
What do we call him, Matt Wyman?
His nickname is Matt Handsome Wyman.
Handsome?
That's his nickname.
All right, so he might have been handsome back in like UFC 68 or whenever he debuted, right? But he hadn't fought for a hot second. Yeah. I think he'd lost his last two.
He was not doing good.
He was not,
He's cut now.
He looked like, someone's dad.
Yeah.
Not meant to be fighting in the UFC. And Jordan Levitt also kind of looks like someone's dance teacher, right? But what does he do? Waltzes over there, scoops in for this double leg. It looks like he basically just went in to suck his dick almost. Like it was not a pretty double leg. He just went right for the balls. Scoops him up, just waddles him over to his corner, and he's like, all right, you know what? I'll just slam him right here.
I know what you're talking about.
Puts his arm under his fucking chin and just belts him down.
Yeah. First of all,
and meanwhile,
the double leg wasn't under the ass. It was above the ass. It was around the waist. So like, when do you pick someone up when you...
Dude, $2 sucky, man. He was going hard.
And he picks him up. He turns around. He's like, where are you? Because he's asking his coach. That I already thought was genius. He's trying to find his...
But meanwhile, Matt Wyman just kind of clings onto him. Yeah, I got this, man. I know I'm going for a ride.
Piggybacks,
Dude, this is fun. Piggybacks, dude. Anyway, he fucking drags him over to his corner, and the left arm over the face, so the whole impact was on the skull, and there was no allowance for bounce.
And just slams him,
sickening knockout.
Looks like Bubba Ray Dudley putting someone through a table.
Yeah, he went cross-eyed.
But you watch that and you go, how come it just seems so easily done? I'll just pick this guy up. He's not going to do anything. I'll walk him over to wherever I want, take my time, and just slam him down so he's knocked out.
I would not be surprised if a lot of other UFC fighters implement the hand on the face.
It's crazy.
In this kind
I
of
would not be
occasion.
surprised if no UFC fighter decides to cling on to someone
Yeah,
as they're
like a
you know,
drop bear. Yeah.
walking over to their corner. They're about to get slammed. He's like, I accept this. It's fine. It's not fine. We watched you go unconscious. The second his skull hits the ground, his eyes literally
it's
just
that-
fucking rattle into
it's
each other.
That dad
famous.
was hanging on to him like his daughter before prom. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't
and he
glad.
got cut pretty quick. That's fine. And that's a great debut for Jordan Levitt, to which he celebrates with doing the whatever the fuck,
Little dance,
Swan
was it?
Princess or whatever it is.
Twice.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Does it
twice.
Black
Yeah.
Swan. Yeah.
Yeah. Black Swan?
That-
Black Swan.
Yeah. Twice now.
Jordan Levitt is an interesting cat. I'm just going to say this right now. He has a
Yeah.
very interesting vibe.
Looks
about him.
creative.
Yeah, we'll say. Yeah.
But you know what, man? He made the Whiffies. So
he made the
Yeah,
Whiffies.
shit, dude.
Honorable mention.
We're smelling what you're cooking,
Yeah,
Jordan
man.
Levitt.
We'll have you on the
We're
show
excited
soon.
for the next fight.
We'll have you on the
Yeah.
show soon.
This one is the easiest. So the winner for KO of the year, and comes no surprise
As
to
if this
anyone,
was- a surprise.
is
to
Joaquin Buckley and Impa Kasanganai. So Joaquin Buckley having probably the coolest knockout I've ever seen in my lifetime. He throws
Absolutely.
it's the left kick to the body, I'm pretty sure. It gets
Yep.
caught. And then he does a
Meanwhile,
one.
this fight was a brawl too.
Yeah.
These guys were going hard at it, and it's just this I mean, there's no read for this shot. Like, no one knew it was coming. It's not like you could read a setup. Like he setting traps. He wasn't
anticipate that.
exactly. And the athleticism it takes to pull off something like this, where you're throwing a kick
one-footed spinning back kick
to the face,
to the face.
while someone's caught your leg.
Are you serious?
He's expecting like you're going to try and jump and roll out of it potentially or do something. He's holding on, and Buckley kind of pivots on the foot, and then jumps off of that same foot and just
A one-footed
blasts
spinning
him.
back
heel
to the
to
face.
the heel to the fucking dome, like right between the eyes.
Everything about this knockout was perfect. We've never
Yeah.
seen anything like that. It was
Insane.
a unique move. The KO, the fall back to the floor from Kasanganai.
I believe it's a Taekwondo technique. I just don't think that he intended it to.
man. If you're not Jackie Chan in the movie Tuxedo,
Yeah.
I don't want to see you doing that.
If this isn't on Tekken,
Right?
it's
You know,
never going to happen
your
anywhere
name
else.
ain't Eddie and ending in Gordo.
Yeah.
Don't be doing that stuff, man.
Well, it
Making
worked
us look
for him.
bad.
Yeah.
And it got him noticed, especially because he's just coming off the loss. to
Yeah, he
Kevin
lost his
Holland.
debut to Kevin Holland, our boy. And yeah, you're going up against someone who had a very impressive contender series win, and you know he's debuting. Your debut was a couple months before, and you'd lost. A lot of pressure on the kid. Yeah. Now I think that highlight will be played for all of time.
Oh my god. What
That'd be
could
one.
beat
That
was
might be
insane.
top 5, if not top 3 best knockouts ever in the sport.
Probably top 2. I'm just going to say that. I don't know what.
Yeah,
That's
I think
full
Masvidal.
The Ben Askren flying knee.
Yeah,
Mm.
bent flying knee, and I
The
think
Whiffies of all time, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, but
there's a few in there.
yeah.
Like legendaries. That's a legendary one. That
Oh
is,
my God.
without a doubt, winning the Whiffie this year.
Yep.
No doubt.
So, Joaquin Buckley, congratulations on your whiff.
Yeah, and be less jacked, man. Come on. Save
Yeah,
some
come on,
fucking mung for the rest of us, all right?
Yeah, come on, man.
Shit.
And then entering the back half, the Whiffies, the first official Whiffies.
Sneaking up the
2020.
back end, are we?
We're going in the. We're entering the rear now. So we've
Alright.
we've done submission, and we've done KOs.
Stinks a little.
Yeah.
You get a whiff of that?
Nice.
Dude, what is
Nice
that
and good.
smell,
We're
dude?
getting to the juicy,
Innards.
stinky end of the Whiffies.
Sphincty.
It's time for fight of the year. So the first fight of the year, we're gonna chuck it open to Figueiredo and Moreno. This fight was awesome. Probably the best flyweight fight we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And as you said before, it's gonna stand the test of time for one of the greatest fights probably ever.
You know what's crazy? It doesn't make fight of the year, yet it's the best flyweight fight of all time. Probably next, as I said, Dodson and DJ the second time. I would say that was probably for me. Or even like Benavidez and DJ the first time. There's some good flyweight fights. This one just stands out as just an all-out fucking war.
I have a couple gripes with it why it doesn't make fight of the year, and that's
The 5th round.
the 5th round. Yeah, 100% is the biggest thing.
Mm.
I think that they didn't stamp it with throwing bombs. Like I think if they threw some bombs, in the 5th round, that would have been it. But the 5th round was relatively chill, and
Mm.
they were just completely exhausted and obviously beat up. Like, they both went to the hospital after the fight. So that, and like,
I think
you
also
got the point deduction.
yeah,
And most
that
people
also I was
thought
gonna
that
say.
Figueiredo won the fight.
Yeah, had
regardless
not.
of the point
But
deduction.
also he did poke him in the eye and he did
Mhm.
kick him in the nuts pretty fucking hard, man.
Pretty
He
bad.
rattled those
Yeah.
Mexican meatballs pretty bad in that cup, son.
Yeah.
We all heard it. It sounded like like a
Right in the
fucking
enchiladas.
You
Dude.
could have heard that with the crowd. That
Yeah,
was a
it was rough.
really nasty, blatant
cup to nads.
Nad kick.
Still a fucking phenomenal fight. That's one of those ones where there was already a fight lined up afterwards with the Cody Garbrandt thing. That's not happening, right? Everyone knows that Moreno versus Figueiredo 2 is the only fight to make in that division.
Oh my god.
Nothing else matters.
Was a
That
phenomenal
is probably
fight.
one of, if not my top 5 most anticipated fights for next year. I cannot wait to see that
Yeah.
again. I would much. We'll mention it in a bit. We'll mention it in a bit. But there's another fight that was also a contender on this fight of the year, and I think that a lot of people wanted to see that run back. I would much prefer to see this.
That fight was the embodiment of, unstoppable force meets immovable object. If you ask me,
Yeah.
that was just,
Or just a really tough Mexican versus both an
Just the God of
immovable.
War, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah, just Moreno just would not go away.
Would,
And we
dude.
thought he. I mean, most people thought that Figueiredo was going to win.
Figueiredo has mopped the floor with everybody. He's knocked almost everyone out or submitted them or done significant damage. And he did all of those things to Moreno and he just didn't fucking budge. Didn't even wobble him, dude.
That's why it lasted those rounds.
It's so... I mean, we did a review of this. Check it out. A couple with episode 5. What it is, Moreno has that kind of Mexican warrior spirit where he can just take more damage. He's just built different. He doesn't look like much. He's not shredded. He's not like a terrifying athlete the same way that Figueiredo is, but he matched him across the board where like maybe he's not as powerful, but he's probably a bit faster, throws in more combinations, equally as tough.
He definitely
Moreno was the one with the takedowns. That's kind
dude.
of what leveled the scores.
Absolutely.
definitely eats hard shell tacos.
And
that's
these-
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
whatever hard shell tacos.
No
he's eating,
soft
just
shells for
fucking
him,
Dude,
No
hooking
he's
up.
soft-
putting the fucking, what is it, the death sauce on his,
Yeah,
you know,
dude.
in acai.
Las Vegas death
yeah.
sauce with liquid rage, dude.
Yeah, dude. He's got that.
I'll drink that if I have to.
Yeah.
If it makes me
He
as
is
tough
the
as Moreno.
Scoville meter. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And he gets hot heat. That's a great fight. I can't wait to see it again. Shout out to those guys. I'm whiffing what you guys are putting out. What do we got next? I'll leave that one for you, son.
Earlier on in the year, we had an absolute fucking banger.
Where were we when we watched this?
We were in the snow. We were at Mount Borbor.
Yeah, Borbor,
Yeah, we were
no
at Mount
shit.
Borbor when we watched this, and this
Not
wa-
on Mount
this wa-
Everest.
This
I
was a
recall.
great time. We were drinking still the same,
Yeah.
and that fight we watched was Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier.
Mm.
This fight was fucking sick, and while this could even be my favorite fight personally, the first 2 rounds, Hooker put it on Poirier like a mother. What were the strikes for that? There was something. It was
Something
preposterous. It was like
impossible.
40,
Output.
50 strikes in one round, both rounds. So like Hooker was just putting it on Poirier, and then Poirier came back in the 3rd and 4th, and you see Hooker just slowly kind of dwindle in the championship rounds. But it was so close, and there was still damage being dished out later on into the championship rounds.
Definitely thought Poirier won, but Hooker
Yeah, so
made
do I.
a good account for himself, knowing
Yes.
that Dustin is a staple of this division. He is a warrior at heart. He's one of the best fighters in this division by far, and he's known for going to war.
Mm.
And Dan Hooker brought the war to him, man. Like he just planted his feet and started swinging at Dustin Poirier. And who the fuck does that, man?
Dude, he nearly had him out too. Poirier was nearly out. I think it was
Yeah,
in the
he
3rd.
clipped him a bunch of times. I think it might have even been the second, like right at the end of the second
Yeah,
round. Those
something like
boys
that.
were just planted and swinging.
Poirier didn't know where he was. He didn't know where his corner was.
I think why I thought Poirier, not necessarily that he won, that why I thought he would also win the fight, since, we're getting a blueprint. I think there's enough Poirier footage out there to get a read on this. Dan Hooker seems to be a 3-round fighter, right? Like he is excellent in 3 rounds, but his gas tank is not. I love Dan Hooker. Like, don't get me wrong, I love him, but
Amen.
he's a 3-round fighter, man. Like he's not built for 5-round fights. Especially someone like Dustin Poirier who can keep that kind of pace, and we know his cardio is
He
absolutely
wasn't
at the
built for it then, but I think that was a wake up call.
Yeah,
and I think he'll be built for it. When the
Yeah,
time
if there's
comes.
ever going to be a time to have a 5-round fight, Dustin Poirier is the last guy you want to see on the other end of the bracket, son. So, made a good account for himself, man. I think he made his country proud, made us proud, and as you said, like to give Poirier the business the way he did and not get finished. I mean, look at who Poirier's knocked out. Eddie Alvarez. He submitted Pettis. He knocked out Gagey. Like a lot of other spectacular fighters, especially strikers, have not been able to go the distance with Dustin, and Dan Hooker did. Survived.
Well done.
There was no losers in this fight, if you ask me.
Yeah, man. And now look where Dan Hooker, he lost no clout in that sense, and he's now got himself a fight with Michael
Probably
Chandler.
More popular than ever, dude.
Yeah, and I think he might even be the favorite in that fight too. I think he will be.
Well done for the nomination.
Yeah, we smell on
dude.
it.
In every sense of the word and phrase, well done.
To
Making
both
the
guys,
wins.
man. Shout out to Poirier
This was
and
a
Dan
great
Hooker.
fight to watch.
Come on the podcast.
Okay.
Alrighty. Now, yes, this is another fucking excellent fight. When they announced this card, I don't remember who was headlining, but this fight, Josh Emmett and Shane Burgos, I think everyone knew this was the people's main event, right? We could see the card line up and we're like, okay, so this is the fight that you want to be tuning in for. No, it's not the main event, but absolutely it'll be the best fight. And it was. It was in every sense. These two motherfuckers just went absolute ape shit with one another. Like there was no feeling out process. There was no go over and let's measure it out. Like dude, these two just collided. No other way to say it. I mean, Josh Emmett just went and just started swinging at Shane Burgos. I mean, he's a guy known for taking damage and dishing it back. And I mean, he took a lot of damage. He got dropped multiple times. And Josh Emmett's just a fucking, just maybe a superior athlete to almost everyone in featherweight. He's just a spectacular athlete. He's fast. He's powerful, well-schooled, great wrestling. And I mean, Shane Burgos is not all of those things, but what he is tough. He's long. He's got really kind of stiff, mean punches. He comes forward, chin up in the air.
He was a motherfucker for a while until, my boy Calvin Cater came and took his undefeated streak away from him. Then
that was
he came.
an excellent fight too. I mean, this guy, Shane Burgos, when you see him on a card, you know that that's fireworks because this guy doesn't know how to have a boring fight. That's his style. His style is, I want to fight you. I don't want to win a points battle. I don't want to win a technical kickboxing or a wrestling event or anything like that. It's I want to come and take your fucking head off. And and Josh Emmett is buff Voldemort, and
he came off a devastating KO of his own. Like Josh Emmett had his orbital broken by Jeremy Stevens,
and ever since then,
who again Calvin Cater also beat.
He's put a good run together. If I'm not mistaken, he would have passed Jeremy Stevens now in the rankings. I think he's knocked out Michael Johnson, who's known for being able to take a lot of damage. He knocked out Ricardo Lamas. He knocked down Burgos a bunch of times. I mean, he's made a good account for himself. Very happy. This was an excellent fight. These boys deserve all of the praise for this. I think Josh Emmett did get the nod. I don't think anyone was arguing with that, but I mean, both guys made a great account for themselves.
Yeah, well done.
Spectacular fight.
Which I appreciate that you get your dick hard for Calvin Cater, though.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Yeah, there's some
one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah,
a good reason.
Your boy.
You'd like to watch him strike. He's
Yeah.
how you want to
Technician.
Beautiful technician on the
no
feet,
fat
man.
on those punches whatsoever.
Yeah, clean,
Great push
crisp
kick as
boxing.
well. Yeah,
Love
Boston
it.
strong. All right, next fight we got a this one was fantastic. This was a legit fight. We got Casey Kenny and Nathaniel Wood.
Yes. Come on now.
Jesus
These
Christ,
two
this
boys this is another stacked card. We were up at what, like 4, 5 in the morning watching this fucking card. I don't know why it was so early. I think it must have been
Abu
the Fight
Dhabi.
Island. It was a Fight
that
Island
night?
card.
Yeah.
That night. Ooh.
Yeah, it was a big night for us. We'd come off of watching the second Borat
Yeah.
and then like maybe napped for like 2 hours and got back up and
I
started
didn't
watching
nap.
this at like
I
5
did
in the
not
morning.
nap.
Yeah.
Damn, son. These two boys, not ranked, bantamweights, not expected to do great things. I don't think either of them were like the next biggest of prospects, but they both put themselves on the map in this fight. This is one of those fights where neither one of these fellas were really well known until this fight, and now I think they're both building.
Nathaniel came off contender, and
no, I think Nathaniel was from Cage Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. I think Nathaniel Wood. I think maybe Casey Kenny came from contender. I'm pretty sure Nathaniel Wood was the champion in Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
But don't quote me
Either
on
way,
that.
everything just like the stars just aligned,
Yeah.
and we just got this
Nice technical striking match of kick for kick, punch for punch. Casey Kenny kind of being like the bully, wanting to sort of come forward, swing with his hands in combinations, and Nathaniel Wood really trying to mix in the body kicks. He probably won in terms of strikes landed. I mean, he probably outstruck Casey Kenny, but I think Casey Kenny was kind of like the gagey, I guess, in that sense, where he was just sort of pushing forward, no selling all of the strikes that he was absorbing, and just kind of winging big, assertive strikes and really kind of pushing that pace on Wood. And man, these two made a great account for themselves. That's how you win fans, man. Like, it's not always about chasing names, beating up, former legends of the sport. Sometimes you fight contenders and you put on these spectacular performances and you announce yourself to the world. Like, hey, man, like, we're on the prelims of a card that is headlined by, pretty sure it was Khabib and Gaethje, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was that card.
That was the one that we stayed up for, yeah.
Yeah, and these two motherfuckers, man, just go ham on this prelims. Like, we're not walking
Sometimes
out of this fucking ring with 50 grand.
Sometimes
Like,
they're the best
without
fights too.
50
The ones that
grand,
you don't expect to be
Yeah.
awesome, and they just turn out to be amazing. And this was all that was.
Match Casey Kenny up with anyone at 135. You've got yourself a banger, and I think
He is. He's
he's
fighting
got-
Dominic
he's
Cruz,
got
right?
Dominic Cruz, and he's fucking probably going to win that.
Yeah.
And that smile, though.
That's a hard fight for Dominic Cruz. And as I said, Nathaniel Wood, I mean, give him anyone, right? Give Nathaniel Wood Sugar Sean, for fuck's sake. That's a clean, crispy fight. I'd watch the shit out
I'll
of
put my
that.
pants on for that.
Yeah, man. And undies, right? Change my undies 3 times a day
Yeah,
for that one.
Doing the
Oh,
old
sweet.
Schwit.
Yeah.
Shout out to our boy Schwit there.
Insane fight. 2 guys who aren't even ranked. You know what I mean? Like, just absolutely putting on a showcase for this division, saying like, not even top 15 in the world, and we can still put on such a fucking spectacular fight of the night like that.
Oh, shout out to them. Well done.
Nice work.
Whiffies.
Last one.
Last nomination. We've got John Jones and Dominic Reyes,
Yeah.
which was
Unexpected, but I think a lot of, I don't know. One of the things about this fight was that I was not really giving Reyes a chance personally. I thought that he was just
a lot of
overestimating
people like
himself.
the same.
And he made an excellent account for himself. And it should have probably been a little bit more, I think people probably should have been more aware of this result, seeing how well Reyes had performed in the past. He just knocked out a former champion in Chris Weidman, moving
And
up.
there was also the narrative that John Jones is slowing down as well. It could have been a passing of the torch
Like a
moment.
bunch of those things. It looked like Jones was just not motivated to fight someone like Reyes. And same thing, Thiago Santos before that, and that was also a close fight. And then Dominic Reyes being like, hey, man, like, you are just a human being, right? And I'm going to fucking put your name to the test.
But again, the championship
did.
rounds, John Jones comes in and kind of steals the
but
win
I
away.
mean, if you look at a highlight reel, the highlights are Reyes, man.
Yeah,
I don't
all
even
Reyes.
like the guy, man. What is he?
He's Hispanic.
He's Hispanic.
Apparently
That's all we
he's
know.
Hispanic. I heard
And his
that.
hairline fucking does my head in. Get rid of it. You're looking like the Count.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Holding on to something there.
He's Hispanic. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
And he gave John Jones essentially his closest fight ever, where most people would look at the highlight reel. In the first 3 rounds, he absolutely butted John Jones's fucking filthy bread.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no Vegemite.
No
Dirty
veg.
little bread.
No Vegemite.
And then John Jones, being the champion that he is and being as fucking tough as he is, rallied back and started to put it on him on rounds 4 and 5. Most people would say Reyes 1 and 2, Jones 4 and 5. Round 3 is up in the air. I think
Reyes for
90%
3.
of people would give Reyes round 3, but no.
A lot of people say how
to
you
give
close
the-
a fight, though.
To
That's
give the consensus best fighter in the world, the closest fight he's ever had in his career is
You're getting a nomination.
yeah, it's a special fight, man.
100%.
And as I said, I don't like giving Reyes prop. I don't really like the guy, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's not made me interested in him personally, like outside of the cage, other than his performances in the cage. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys, like, I will always watch for his fighting prowess.
You got to respect him
But
professionally.
you have to respect, obviously. And John Jones is the same. I do not like him as a person outside of the cage, but inside there, you have to watch. He is a must-watch fighter.
All right,
Because you want to
drum
see
roll,
him
guys.
lose.
Last nominee done.
And-
Last,
the winner.
not the nominee, but the winner
Yep.
for the fight of the year.
By far.
Easily,
Hands down.
without a doubt,
Yeah.
is Weili Zhang and Joanna in Jacek. That fight was fireworks. It was the best. It was
By
so
far
close,
the
and it
best
was
female fight ever.
oh my god,
By
this
far.
fight was the best.
I was on my feet from the first second of this fight to the lot, like 25 minutes later, or whatever it is, 20, 30 minutes later with the breaks included. I did not sit down for this fight. I was on my feet. I could not believe that these two went as hard as they did. Like, Joanna left this fight looking like a fucking alien, and poor Wei Li, looked like a balloon animal, man. Like,
man.
these two put it all on the line. And the funny thing too is that Joanna was a big underdog in this. Like, no one gave her much of a chance. They said, like, Wei Li's the new Jen. She smoked everyone in her path so far. And Joanna's probably over the hill, and she's just too cocky. And fuck me, dude. I thought Joanna won this fight. I scored it for her. I'm not mad that Wei Li got the nod, but truly, that's another
I thought
rematch.
Weili won. I thought Joanna made a good case towards the end, but I
Yeah,
think
man.
Weili was, she stamped it early.
This fight, there's not a second where there's not action in this fight. And I mean that in all totality, 25 minutes, every single second of this fight is one or the other punching them in the face.
Yeah.
That's it. For 25 minutes, the output in this fight, the fucking fight IQ, the
Phenomenal.
each individual time that they would go back out there, they would sort of change up what their approach, and it would still just end up as a slugfest, but a technical slugfest. Like, these two are the elite of the elite striking, and they can both grapple their asses off too. And it just didn't even go to the ground. From my memory, I don't even think it even went to the ground. It was
Don't
just
think
these
so.
two just fucking banging it out, son.
Striking clean.
I watched this fight on my break at work, right? And I was having,
Oh,
I was watching it. I could have either watched it in the bar that was full of people and it was super loud, or I could go get something to eat just across the walkway, right? I could hear nothing but screams and fucking shouts and everything from the bar. If I had have gone into the bar to watch it, I would have heard the fight. I would have heard anything. It was so loud, and for good reason. Like, it was nuts. It was hard to stay quiet watching
well
that
done to
fight.
them. To be able to get that reaction from people as well. It's crazy.
It was amazing.
To get, as I said, like, maybe it's not the best fight ever, but for the female weight classes and divisions, to assert yourself, both of them, as the best fight ever in all female combat sports history. There's no fight that has been so closely contested, so back and forth, where these two are, from fucking bell to whistle, are trying to kill one another.
And you've done a service to all female fighters in the UFC by pushing that forward and legitimizing what they do.
I mean, they won Fight of the Year.
Yeah.
Over them, in our eyes, they won Fight of the Year. And in a lot of people's eyes, won Fight of the Year over all of the
over everything
men's
that we just
MMA.
mentioned, out of some of the best
Poirier and
fights
Hooker.
we've seen.
It's better than Poirier and Hooker.
Yeah, this fight was, and this was one of the first like major fights of the year too, and this was the co-main to the stink of the year as well.
Was it actually?
Yes, and
You'll hear about the stink of the year in a second.
Yeah.
We'll come back to the stink of the year, but this was the co-main to that. What a way to kind of ruin what could have been a great fight as well by basically being the best female fight of all time.
Yeah, right.
Congratulations. That's all I can say is congratulations to both women in this fight. Joanna did not lose anything by taking the L here. I thought she won. I can see it for Wei Li, but that's another fight that needs to be run back in the future. And maybe they might not ever live up to that again, but still, that fight will live forever. It'll live forever.
100%.
Congratulations, man. Like,
Congratulations on your whiff.
both of these two.
Ladies,
You
come on the
copped yourself
podcast.
a fucking whiffy.
We'll see you on here.
Absolutely.
All right, so fighter of the year. We have two nominees, and we're going to do the winner of fighter of the year.
We'll go third place first.
We're going to do third place because this is the one we agree on. The top two were a bit. It depends on what you rate and you
The
value.
criteria, yeah.
Yeah. What is the real value in fighter of the year? So the third one is an easy one. We're going to do Jan Blachowicz.
Yep. By far, he should. I mean, had not these other two fighters done what they did this year, I mean, Jan Blachowicz should probably be number one. It's just being the first light heavyweight champion that's not Cormier or Jones in like 9 years is a pretty big deal. Did he win it off of either of those guys? No, but what he did do to affirm his position as the king of that division was beat convincingly the guy who
may
the
have
former
beaten
champion,
Jones.
who most people thought that Reyes beat John Jones, and then fucking Jan Blachowicz being a pretty big underdog in that fight when they had vacated the title, bollocked him from pillar to post. I mean, it was competitive, and then it just wasn't, man. He took maybe 1 or 2 body kicks, and then suddenly Reyes was just backing off, just didn't want nothing to do with him.
Blachowicz left a map of Poland on the side of his body.
Absolutely.
And his nose
that
was pointing. It was not
Not
pointing
due north,
straight.
south,
It was not
Looked
pointing
like Jack
straight after
Sparrow's
that
fucking
fight.
compass on his face. Man.
Yeah,
It was rough.
There was a lot of damage real
And
quick.
not only that, he knocked out Reyes, who gave Jones his hardest fight, debatably. And before that, he'd knocked out Corey Anderson, who was on a 4-fight win streak.
Yeah.
Who's now been shipped over to Bellator.
Yeah.
Well done for your nomination.
Yeah, I mean,
Jan
that's
Blachowicz.
a great to get 2 knockouts in a year in I guess not in title fights, but just like pretty much a number 1 contenders fight, knockout,
And to become the champion.
avenging a loss he'd already gotten against Corey Anderson, like maybe several years ago, and doing it emphatically like that.
Yeah.
And then like beating Dominic Reyes the way that he did. I mean, how can you not give that guy
Comeback almost. As
pretty
well,
much one of the spots in Fighter of the Year, I believe.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see him.
And he's got another huge fight, man, because like if he's fighting Israel Adesanya, the middleweight champion, in March, I believe. So
Yeah, it's paid off for him. Yeah.
that if he beats Izzy, I mean,
Oh my
he's lining himself up for some pretty juicy fights in the future. I think if he beats Izzy, John Jones will return to light heavyweight just to prove a point. And I mean, if he beats Izzy,
Who
what's to
knows
say
what's-
that he can't beat Jones too, man?
100%.
Well done.
That Polish power is something to behold. Can't wait to see my boy Jan.
This one for Fighter of the Year, because we both
We're torn.
We go
It's
either
torn.
way.
It's
It's
tough,
really
man.
torn.
All right,
So
lay out the.
we'll say them both. All right. So
Okay.
the Fighters of the Year, Davison Figueiredo or Kevin Holland. I'm going to state my case with Kevin Holland, and that is that he had more wins in the year, and also 4 out of his 5 wins were finishes, KOs. So he went 5-0 this year, 1 split with the dentist, Darren Stewart, and then he had 4 other KO wins.
And he weighed in 6 times at 185 because he was scheduled to fight Trevin Giles, and Trevin Giles pulled out the day of the fight, and he offered to fight your boy, what's his name? The slowest fighter on the roster, Ed Herman, at light heavyweight on literally a couple hours' notice. Like literally, as the card was going, like I'll fight Ed Herman because Gerald Mearshart fell out of that fight.
Ed Hermit.
Dude, yeah,
Fucking
Ed
Herman
Herman
Crab,
being the
fucking
slowest.
Homer
slow.
Simpson, dude.
Yeah,
Homer Simpson.
that's a baller move, man, and that's an absolute. Of course, that's a candidate for Fighter of the Year.
The guy's a baller,
5-0
dude.
in COVID from May to December.
Yeah.
is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, he didn't even start January, February, March. Dude, he started in May. He's got 5 wins from May.
Yeah. Fluffy
till
Hernandez, knockout.
Yeah.
Joaquin Buckley, who has the KO of the year, he knocked him out in his debut. Decision,
Darren Stewart.
Darren Stewart won the first 2 rounds and then lost the second round. He got the win, but he could have been a draw had that the third round been scored as a 10-8. So it was pretty close. So that maybe be the one blemish. He still did win.
You got Jacare in there at the
And then,
the end, and then the
he
fourth one was
No, the fourth one was Ontiveros.
Charles Ontiveros.
Slammed him and I think fucking injured his neck. So that
Yeah.
fight was ruled a submission, but I think it should be kind of a TKO of some sort. Very quickly, that kid was debuting too. I think it was a short notice fight. And then he took the fight with, who was he meant to fight? Hermanson, wasn't it? I think he was meant to fight Hermanson, and then he ended up swapping opponents on like a week's notice or 2 weeks' notice and fought Jacare, who's an even harder fight than Hermanson, and knocked him out off of his back in the first round. If that's not
when does that happen? When does Jacare get knocked
also,
out?
this guy talks shit. He's exciting. He's got a great style.
Yeah.
Got
that kung fu background.
Yeah, he is just that kind of guy that you want to see fighting the Israels and the Whitakers and stuff. Like he was, floating around outside of the top 15 of middleweight. Lost his the last fight of last year for him was against Brendan Allen, and he lost that fight, and then just made a spectacular turnaround this year. 5-0. Not my, I would say the beginning of my argument against that is none of those fighters were ranked. Is it still impressive? 4 out of the 5 fights were finishes? Absolutely.
Yep.
He weighed in 6 times between May and December. Fantastic. And also, yeah, as I said, he's made a case for himself each time because he talks a lot of shit in the cage. He's exciting. His style is very friendly to the casual audience. And yeah.
There's nothing better than somebody who backs up the shit talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it's good shit
absolutely.
talk.
Special
So
thing.
it's just,
That's
there's nothing about the guy that's
criteria for fighting.
There's nothing about him you don't like.
Yeah,
forward to
I
seeing him fight
agree.
next
I've
year.
been a big fan of this guy for a long time. Like before this year, I remember listening to him on a podcast, and I just loved the interview. I loved hearing the kind of cockiness and the attitude that he had. And I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on this guy, the Trailblazer. And I watched his fights throughout 2019. He had some success. As I said, he came up short against Brendan Allen. Kind of broke my heart because I thought that might have been his chance to sort of leapfrog into those big names, that upper echelon. And this whole year, he just took a bunch of fights that were not really going to do a lot for him, and he made do with what he had. And
Sometimes that's what Dana likes.
yeah,
And you know the Dana White
exactly.
story about Big Mouth?
yeah, man, the Big Mouth story is fucking. I'm so glad that they put that in the build up to the Jacare fight, because that's something that he did in an interview that I saved on my phone. I mean, must have been a couple of months ago now, but I'm so glad they used that for the promo, because that's the perfect way to promo the Big Mouth getting his debut against Santos
Yeah,
after winning his fight on Contender and not getting drafted to the UFC. I know. It's just a
Nobody
great
wants
story,
to take
man.
the Santos fight on short notice,
Yeah,
and Dana
no
White's, all right,
one.
I'll call Big Mouth. See
Yeah.
if Big Mouth will take the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And Holden takes the fight, and then the
Yeah.
rest is history.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. And the other side of the coin, though, to the
Yeah.
Kevin Holland argument with the 5-0 for this year is Figueiredo's. I guess you would say it's kind of 4-0, but it's not.
3-0 and it's
Yeah.
3-1-0.
4 title fights, 3 finishes,
Mm-hmm.
knockout, submission,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has a draw, which probably would have been a win had not the point deduction been in there. Still a close fight, but that's one of those ones where I look at it like, yes, the strength of the schedule is not as high with the 5 wins, but you got 4 title fights.
And his last 2 were very close together as well, might I add.
And he back-to-back pay-per-views.
Yeah.
There's caveats on both sides, right? So first things first, the first title fight, he missed weight. That's not good, but he won. Devastatingly
Very
beat the
convincingly.
fucking shit out of poor Joey Benavidez. And everyone was kind of rooting for Joey as well. That was one of those, the narrative where like Joey Benavidez, this is the finally gets his chance to win the title, like it's always eluded him, and Figure was just having none of that. So
Yeah, well, Benavidez has got Megan
knocked
Olivier,
him
so
out.
he's got the real prize, let's be honest.
I mean, Benavidez bounced off of him like he was just made out of steel. So he beat the shit out of Benavidez and knocked him out. They collided heads, but it was actually Joey's fault.
Yeah.
And then he fought him again. They rematched it. He made weight this time. He won the belt. He knocked him down and submitted him this time.
Convincingly.
Just nearly popped his head like a little pimple.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fought Perez, UFC 255 headliner. Wild fight, first round, crazy exchanges. Beat him like in some crazy scramble and submitted him in the first round. And then the next pay-per-view, 3 weeks later, fucking fought Brandon Moreno. And as you said, went to a draw, but kind of won.
And finished with one of the best fights.
Yeah, and finishing the year off
Of
with one
the
of the
year.
best fights of the year. Maybe the second best.
So it's like, what do you score? Do you score the 5-0, and the way that Kevin Holland has like put himself out into the media space as well? He's
big
just
breakout star.
He's entertaining as like no other, really. Or do you give it to Figueiredo, who's had 3 wins and a very entertaining draw,
but
but
Figueiredo
back to back very close?
Figueiredo's become a
wins at the end.
staple name of that division, where like it's so hard to become something at flyweight when it's that division where it doesn't get a lot of hype. The name value for instance, the long reigning champion in DJ, he just was never able to get over in the fans' eyes, in the UFC's eyes, and he left after he lost to Cejudo, and Cejudo had to build this kind of cringe gimmick, the Triple C bullshit king of cringe thing to really kind of sell the flyweight division and quote unquote save it. I don't believe that he saved it. I think Davis and Figueiredo saved it, to be honest, because no one has come out of this division with more prowess, with more like the scare factor of this guy. Like he's this terrifying force in this division where he doesn't speak a lot. He doesn't have to build this whole cringe persona. He has just built this, God of War.
I think it's
presence.
I think it's a
from fighting.
I think it's a credit to Cejudo and Figueiredo, but I think Figueiredo is pound for pound scary. Like he's across all weight classes. He's scary. So it brings attention to flyweights, and
I think he's going to clear flyweight out. And once he's done maybe a couple more fights, he's going to move up to 35, and he's going to be a big fucking problem for those guys too.
Yeah.
So who do we give it to? I mean, the Whiffie's got to go to one of them. I stand strong on Figueiredo being with the 4 title fights. That's hard to argue with, but as I said,
he missed weight and there was a draw compared to like Holland, who has 5 wins, 4 of them knockouts, and then 1 split decision.
Yeah,
you guys ain't doing no draws for the Whiffies.
Hey, we're giving out trophies. I'm happy to.
The Darren Stewart fight could have been a draw too if you had given that last round a 10-8, which it kind of was.
Yeah.
So it would be a draw on there too. But I mean, we got to give out the Whiffie to one. Doodle, we might have to throw it to you, man.
We've laid out off to the CEO of Live from the Couches.
Yeah.
Look, that, and as you guys just said, that is incredibly hard because talking about the difference in competition versus the output. It's almost quality, quantity in a situation. But at the same time, I've seen some of Kevin Holland's, like his last knockout was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And just the way his persona is, that makes it hard. I think that I have to go just based off the record of 5-0.
Come on, son.
I think that I have to go Kevin Holland.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Let's go Trailblazer.
But there's 100% out there. Like, I mean, I would have said draw, but since you guys are really,
I would say draw as well. And I'm still happy. We're not giving out trophies to anyone right now.
We have to lay out our claim for both guys.
Phenomenal fighters. So, they're
Kevin
both
Holland
winners.
is probably, out of the two of them, the more marketable guy. That comes 100%. Out of that as well. Like, he's come from literally not being ranked at all. And coming off of a loss in his fight at the end of the last year to now 5-0 and potentially only 1 or 2 fights away from a title fight with Izzy, which would be a big deal.
The language barrier does make it hard for Figueiredo to be good on the mic. We know this.
Yeah. But it is the fighting, the merit that gets him across, which is something that a lot of the fighters at flyweight, I guess all of them, have not been able to get.
Ali, go to bed. Go to bed.
Thank you for being our biggest
We got to thank you now, though.
We want to shout you out across the board, I guess.
You can see it at the end. We might still do it.
The first person to share our content, buying us a new camera. None of us asked, or she was just either eavesdropping in and thought, you know what, I'll do something nice for us.
Doodle buy your car.
We got Doodle now to fill some pretty big shoes, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'll take extra good care of her.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is exactly what we wanted to hear because she deserves it. We love her.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ali. We appreciate it.
You.
We appreciate you. Copper Whiff's biggest fan.
Yeah.
We appreciate it so much.
Copper, thank you in this case.
Now go to sleep. Right?
In saying that,
we've got one quick whiff that we want to get out there. It's actually the stinky of the year, the worst fight of the year by far.
I would be holding your nostrils for this one. This is not something you want to cop a whiff of.
Yeah, one of the all-time worst fights.
Tighten your nostrils up because the stank of the year, the stinkiest Pete
the nasal
of
cavity.
the year, dude. You will have no nose hairs after watching this fight, and that is Yoel Romero and Israel Adesanya.
It's rough.
This fight sucked.
This fight sucked so bad. Coming off of, as I said, the Joanna versus Weili fight as the co-main, and then this one just stank out the place. No action. They stood in front of each other. They did nothing.
Adesanya won off leg kicks.
Yeah, just kicked him. Look, Adesanya, in saying that, took one clean punch from Yoel, and he got neutered.
Yeah.
I will say that right now. He got neutered and then ran away for the rest of the fight. And I love Izzy, but let's be honest. He didn't want nothing to do with Yoel after that. So he won a point battle. Smart. But he wanted nothing to do with Yoel, and now Yoel's over in Bellator, and good luck to him, man. 205, let's go. That's the Whiffies for the year.
Yep.
Let us know what you think in the comments. If we're right, if those the right picks for the, for
Yeah.
Look, I
Each
think we did-
category?
I
think we broke it down
crunched
pretty
the
hard.
numbers. I think we did a good job
Oh yeah.
for the first annual Whiffies.
Yeah.
But
Who was your favorite
yeah.
fighter of the year? Yeah. You know.
yeah,
Merry
good one. I mean,
Whiffness.
Holland or Figueiredo. Maybe we do a poll
Yeah,
on that.
that's a
Just
good
figure
one.
it out. But yeah,
Let us
All right,
know.
let us know. Give us some more beers to throw on Mount Beverest. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Thickness.
And also Happy New Year. We'll see you next year at Copper Whiff. Big things to come.
Merry Whiffy.